Merry Meet. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are on our live stream, and today I would like to discuss the topic of the astral equivalent. Anytime we're working magic, what we're attempting to do is to create change in accordance with our will. So if something is not the way we want it to be, or if there is something that we don't want in our lives, we are using some sort of magical operation to create a change so that we get what we don't have, or we get rid of what we don't want. And the way that needs to happen is that we need an astral equivalent built. So we need to build a thought form that corresponds to our desire, because then we are working in the appropriate manner, in that all creation occurs from the invisible to the visible. So we could say that magic works from the inside out, as within, so without. So we have to start with the within in order to get the without. And the way to do that is by building an astral equivalent. Now, most of us are very well informed, and many of us are even very well practiced at doing one of the most common methods of creating that astral equivalent. That is the using visualization, the art of visualization, being able to visualize in detail that which we desire. And we teach a lot about that, but we can go over that very briefly here. One of the most effective methods for using visualization in creating this astral equivalent is to find something in your mind, maybe a scene in your mind that would depict that it's already occurred. So, for instance, say you wanted, say you were going through a really bad divorce, and you wanted the divorce to be over, and you wanted it to be amicable. You wanted everything to be settled and complete. So instead of visualizing a whole divorce happening, you would consider, well, what would be something that would be occurring in my life that would be only occurring if the divorce was settled? Maybe you're shaking hands with your lawyer and saying, it's all done, congratulations, what a success. Something like that, and, so then you would create like a mental visual loop of you shaking your lawyer's hand and hearing him or her tell you that it's all finished and it's a wonderful success. Congratulations. Over and over and over again, just like on a loop, just like somebody had a video and they were, it was looping. And that's the best way to use visualization to start building this astral equivalent, this astral double of that which you desire. Find a scene that depicts that it's obvious that what you want has occurred. Another example of that might be if you were trying to sell a home. Maybe the first thing that you would do after your home was sold would be to take the for sale sign off out of the front of your yard. And so you might create a loop of you taking that for sale sign down over and over and over again. Or maybe shaking the hand of your realtor and hearing him or her say, we got our asking price, congratulations, something like that. Maybe you're going for a play, a part in a movie or something like that, and you hear your agent say, you got the part, congratulations, that kind of thing, over and over and over again. Now, that's a very, very important part of it, and that's where we spend a lot of time, and a lot of people talk about getting that visualization going in order to create that astral double or to create that astral equivalent. But one thing that isn't talked about enough, and it's almost more important than that, is the emotional response that you would have if something occurred that you're looking for. Let's say that you are looking for a new job. So part of that might be, you hear your recruiter saying, oh, they want to sign papers or whatever. You have whatever those that visualization is, that movie, looping. But what's even more important is, what would you feel like if you got the job? How would that feel? What would the feeling be like? And that feeling, you need to learn how to create. You need to learn how to construct that feeling within you so that you feel like it's already occurred. That is the true test that that astral equivalent has been built. And then it's literally just a matter of time. There's no question that it's coming. Once you have that emotional feeling. Now, there's several ways to start learning how to do this, because sometimes that can be a challenge, especially if you are if you're trying to extricate yourself from a difficult situation. It can be a challenge to have that experience of emotionally accepting the opposite. When you're within that. So sometimes what you can do is use your memory. Use your memory to remember a time when you felt something similar to what you are wanting to feel with this. So you can go back in time and remember that and feel the feeling that you were feeling back then. And then while you're feeling the feeling, you change the visualization to the new movie. Does that make sense? So you go back in time to remember something similar that gave you a similar experience of the emotion that you're wanting to be feeling, that indicates that your new goal has occurred. You go back in time and you re-experience that until you can feel that emotion, and then while you're feeling that emotion, you substitute the old experience with the new visualization. That's another way that you can get that emotion moving, and it's probably one of the most simple ways. The other thing that you can do is to learn how to relax. Just to learn how to relax on a daily basis, so that no matter what's occurring, you have the ability to, in the face of any experience, that you're able to relax and feel at peace and see the light and feel the peace instead of whatever that negative feeling is. If you can discipline yourself to do that every day, then when it's time to cast a spell, you can start by relaxing your body and mind so that you're starting off at square one, and then it'll be a lot easier for you to build that emotional experience rather than fighting against the emotional experience that you're already having. So when you start a spell, you want to start a spell with your relaxation complete, so that you're starting from square one rather than trying to fight against an emotion in the midst of your spell. So let's just remind ourselves that when we are working magic, we are working from the inside out. We are working from the astral to the physical. And so in order to create change, you must build it on the astral. If that thought form isn't well built on the astral, nothing is going to occur that you want on the physical. So the first thing you have to do is learn how to see yourself in a situation that proves to your deep mind that occurred. But even more importantly than that, you have to learn how to feel the emotion that you would be feeling were that thing to be actually in occurrence. Okay, so let's just go through a couple of these. So let's say you wanted to have, say that you needed, or you desired a raise. Say that you wanted a raise from your job. What would be the emotion that you'd have with that raise? How can you experience that emotion? Now, if you can't conjure that, if you're not skilled enough to conjure that emotion, then do what I told you, and that's think back in time. Have you ever had a raise before? Has somebody ever given you a surprise? Have things ever worked out for you in the past? What did that feel like? Go over that situation in the past again and again and again until you are really feeling that emotion, and then change your visualization into the loop that I talked about earlier, that is the indication that this new goal has manifest. Let's say you're looking for a new mate. Let's say you're looking for a new partner. Well, you've probably had one before. You've probably been in love before. You know what that's like when you meet when you meet someone new and you've got that initial attraction. Go back and think about that, what that felt like. Don't allow yourself to be pulled into the rest of the relationship, especially if it didn't end so well. Just try to do your best to discipline your mind to stay focused on that one little experience of when you had that initial attraction, where you guys met, where you two met. And then once you're feeling that feeling, then change that visualization over to that new little loop of a movie in your mind that indicates the new desired result that you're looking for. If let's go with the other, like on a banishing. Let's say that you have a huge tax bill that you have no idea how you're going to pay. What would that feel like if that all got paid? Let's just say that somebody wrote a check and just paid your taxes. What would that feel like? What would the emotion be? Okay, and now if you can't conjure that emotion, think back over your life. When have you ever had an experience of relief? When something just finally happened that gave you relief from a problem? Everybody's experienced relief. So do your best to find a place in the past where you've had some kind of relief, feel that experience of relief, and then change that visualization to maybe your accountant is congratulating you on having all your taxes paid in full, something like that. Right? So whatever your goal is, or whatever the problem that you're trying to banish, you do have to visualize it, but that's not enough. Most importantly, in order for you to know that astral double has been created, is the feeling that's associated with it, the emotional feeling associated with it. What you'll also notice is when you have that feeling of peace about the situation, where you're no longer concerned about it so much anymore, that usually happens within the spellcasting process. It can take several days or even a week of over and over and over again, conjuring these emotions, conjuring these visions in your mind, very disciplined, focused imagination. You get a sense where you're at peace with it, where you're not worried about the situation anymore. You're not anticipating anything other than pure peace. That's when you know that your spell has begun to take and you don't have to cast anymore. That's how you know that you don't have to cast anymore, is when you're at peace with it and you're not worried about it anymore. Whether it's something that you want to bring into your life, or whether that it's something that you're wanting to eliminate from your life. Once you have that sense of peace, then you know that you're finished. You don't need to cast anymore. Now, if you've set out a specific number of days that you're going to be working a spell in advance, then go ahead and complete it. But if you're just casting every day until you see a result, actually don't do it necessarily always until you see the result. Do it until you get a sense of peace, and then stop. Okay? So just to recap, in order to have anything occur with magic, it's important that you build a thought form. And that thought form is the astral equivalent or astral double of that which you desire in the physical world. Part of the way that you create that astral equivalent is through visualization, through imagining in your mind's eye that it is occurring. And one of the fastest and easiest ways to do that is to compose or construct a small short scene indicating that this thing has already occurred, that you play within a loop in your mind over and over and over again. In addition to visualization, it's important to know that you have to be able to create or conjure the emotional response to the situation that you desire. You have to be able to have that emotional response existing during the visualization as part of that building of that astral equivalent. That emotional response needs to happen before you can have that occurrence happen on the physical plane. All right, so with those two things, that emotional response and that visualization, that's how you build that astral equivalent. Now, when you get a sense of peace about the whole spellcasting process, that's an indication to you that the spell has begun to take and that you no longer need to cast. Well, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that this was helpful for you. And until next time, blessed be.